It began with a single sheet of paper the color of a forgotten oatmeal cookie. I was out on the porch that Tuesday, coffee in hand, when the mailman handed it over like he was passing contraband. My name, Robert Ellis, was typed in 12-point Arial above the address, 1427 Oak Ridge Lane. The return logo read, Willow Creek Estates Homeowners Association, and the envelope smelled faintly of lavender copier toner and impending doom. I'd lived in Willow Creek for 4 years, long enough to know the drill. Good schools, short commute, and a neighborhood watch run by Evelyn Harper, a retired dental hygienist who treated curb appeal like the 11th commandment. Evelyn drove a pearl-white golf cart the exact shade of the approved siding trim. She kept a laminated violation matrix taped to the dash and a radar gun for measuring lawn height. The woman could spot a 3000K bulb from 3 houses away. I unfolded the letter. Official notice of violation. The porch sconce at 1427 Oak Ridge Lane contained a 5500K daylight LED. Per section 3.2 of the covenants, all visible exterior illumination must not exceed 2700K to preserve the serene and inviting nocturnal character of the community. Remedy within 7 days or face a $250 assessment, plus $50 daily until cured. Signed, Evelyn Harper, President. $250 for a light bulb I'd installed so I wouldn't trip over the warped step and spill Amazon packages into the azaleas. I looked up at the fixture. It was off, the sun high, but I swear the globe glared back at me with 5500K defiance. That night confirmed the war had already started. I was wheeling the recycling bin to the curb in my ancient Notre Dame sweatpants when the electric whine of Evelyn's cart cut the quiet. She coasted to a stop, headlights pinning me like a raccoon in the pantry. Robert, she said, voice sharp enough to etch glass. Evening, Evelyn. She tilted her head toward the porch. Your light is aggressive. It keeps me from breaking my neck. It's giving the Millers Roses an identity crisis. They think it's high noon in October. She paused, savoring the next line. We are Willow Creek, Robert. We are not a truck stop. I promised to look into it. She reminded me the bin was 4 inches past the approved setback, then glided off into the darkness, leaving me bathed in hostile daylight. The $250 hit my online portal the next morning. I called my oldest friend, Tom, who lives in a sane zip code where porch lights are allowed to be bright. He laughed until he wheezed, then told me to swallow my pride and spend $6 at the hardware store. I hung up, opened the 162-page Covenants PDF, and started hunting for daylight. Section 3.2 applied only to standard residential fixtures. Section 8.1 required every installation to comply with applicable federal safety standards. Federal. The word glowed like a runway edge light. I typed FAA surplus beacon and landed on a government auction for an L-859 rotating aerodrome beacon, dual beam, green-white, 200 pounds of olive drab steel, 100,000 candela, built to guide Cessnas through fog. Buy it now price, substantial. Shipping, a second mortgage. I clicked anyway. A week later, a flatbed the length of a city block rumbled down Oak Ridge Lane, air brakes hissing like gossip. The driver, a bearded giant named Walt, lowered an 8-foot crate between my wife's Camry and the regulation height boxwoods. Neighbors gathered. Evelyn arrived in her cart, suspicion dialed to 11. I waved like a man receiving a new barbecue. Electricians hung up when I described the project. Then I found Hank's odd job electrical on a flyer nailed to the gas station bulletin board. Hank showed up in a van that looked post-apocalyptic, ponytail graying, grin missing a canine. He pried open the crate, whistled low, and said, HOA, huh? Say no more. Over 2 days, Hank's crew poured a 4-foot concrete footing, ran a 240-volt line, and erected a 12-foot galvanized pole. They mounted the beacon, wired a red mushroom switch in the garage, and labeled it Liberty Light in Sharpie. Evelyn tried to intervene. Hank invoked the U.S. flag code and the sacred right to illuminate Old Glory 24/7. She left in a huff, muttering about Article 6. Dusk on Friday, the neighborhood glowed with compliant 2,700K porch lights. I stood in the garage, hand over the switch, Tom on speaker. Last chance to be reasonable, he warned. I slammed the button. A transformer hummed. The motor engaged with a satisfying clunk, and the world turned into noon. A white beam thick as a telephone pole swept across lawns, through windows, over the miller's confused roses. Then green, hospital surgery green, followed like an alien sunrise. 6 revolutions per minute. Bugs arrived in biblical clouds. Garage doors rose and fell like haunted accordions. Evelyn appeared on her lawn in a chenille robe, hair in pink rollers, face strobing green-white-green. "Turn it off," she shrieked. "Can't hear you." I called, slipping on sunglasses. Rotating beacon. Federal compliance. She dialed 911. 2 cruisers arrived. Their reds and blues looked anemic. Sergeant Alvarez, a man who'd clearly seen every flavor of suburban crazy, surveyed the scene, sighed, and declared it a civil matter. "Take it to the board, ma'am." The emergency HOA meeting packed the clubhouse. Evelyn demanded a $1,000 fine and immediate removal. I arrived with a 3-inch binder. Exhibit A, the original citation. Exhibit B, the loophole in Section 3.2. Exhibit C, FAA Advisory Circular 150 divided by 5,345-43J, proving full compliance. Exhibit D, the fine schedule capping penalties at $50 per day. The room erupted, half cheers, half gasps. The miller's son, a real estate attorney still bitter about his banned basketball hoop, confirmed every point. The board rescinded the fine and scheduled a 6-month bylaw overhaul at considerable expense. Victory tasted like cold beer under a green-white sky. I added a timer, 8 to 10 p.m., and swapped the motor for a quieter model. The beacon still sweeps Oak Ridge Lane each evening, a lighthouse for lost pilots and a reminder that rules cut both ways. Last week, a moving truck parked 2 doors down. The new neighbor, a guy my age named Paul, wandered over at dusk, squinting against the rotation. "Does the HOA mandate the runway light?" he asked. I handed him a beer. "Welcome to Willow Creek." The light keeps turning. The roses have adjusted. And somewhere Evelyn is rewriting Section 3.2, one frustrated clause at a time. What about you? Ever fought a petty rule and won, or lost? Drop your story in the comments. Let's hear where you draw the line between community standards and personal freedom.